Good evening and welcome to the December 18, 2018 business meeting of the Council of the Borough of Ringwood. This meeting is being broadcast live and will be replayed on Channel 77 throughout the week. Adequate notice of this business meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Law, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, setting forth the time, date, place, and purpose of this business meeting by Consent Agenda Resolution Number 2018-14, adopted January 1, 2018, through a legal notice published in the Suburban Trends issue of January 7, 2018, and through notices emailed to the following named newspapers and posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall on January 3, 2018, the Suburban Trends and the Bergen Record. Please silence all electronic devices during the meeting. Nicole, roll call, please.
Councilmembers Bolton?
Here.
Davison?
Here.
Ferretti?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Here.
Councilmembers Noonan?
Here.
O'Keefe? Here. Mayor Spear?
Here. Also present, Borough Manager, Director of Department of Public Works, Scott Heck, Acting Municipal Clerk, Nicole Langenmeyer, and Borough Attorney, Richard J. Klimak. Please join me and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Moving through the fast part of our agenda, there are no proclamations and presentations this evening. The approval of minutes for the business meeting of November 27, 2018 will be held until our January business meeting. We won't do that at reorg, we'll do that at the business meeting. Next will be general public comment. Any member of the public wishing to address the mayor and council, please come to the microphone, state your name and address to the record. Try to keep your comments brief and non-repetitive, if you would.
No, since no one else is getting up, I think I'll stand up and say a couple of words. Ned Clausen from Ringwood here. I'm just curious about the situation with the Economic Development Committee and how that is moving forward and how you're going to make choices of people participating in that. I know I have volunteered to do that. I'm just curious to see what the procedure is going to be in the next steps that will be taken, and who will be on that committee. You know, I travel a lot, but I am in contact all over the place anyway. I've been, running the Advertising Association. I traveled all the time and was in contact with people all the time, so I'm not out of contact, but I'll be out of town for a while. Okay, thank you for letting me know how things are going.
Tom McAllen, 32 Judith Ann Drive, Ringwood. I also am here in regards to the Economic Development Committee. I put in an application to be a volunteer onto that committee. I guess what I'd also like to express to you folks is I've been involved with volunteering since, quite frankly, as soon as I got out of high school. I joined the fire department. Then here in town, I've been president of Cupsall Lake, coached, been a councilman, been on the planning board, including vice chairman for many years, including as a councilman, as a member of the public. I think I've had a good grasp of the town. I've been here over 40 years. I'd like to have the opportunity to help bring in some economic growth into the town. Historically, it's been for basically mortar and stick construction, but that's probably not going forward too much in the future. So we have to look for other ways to keep our commercial districts vibrant, keep our tax base up. I'd like an opportunity to be able to work with the committee and try to do that for you.
I'm gonna knock you down. Okay.
You have a bad track record with that.
Connie Hernandez, 18 Pequot. Apparently, I was not aware, but the meeting from the 11th, apparently the cap was approved, if I understand it correctly? From the meeting from the 11th? After the cap for the EPA sites.
Yeah, that was the consent decree.
Yeah.
Which kind of memorializes the cap amongst the.
I have words I've written. I've been very strong about coming down and saying some stuff. These things are still relevant, even though it may sound a little bit like it isn't. Okay. And again, just in case you wind up where they do try to force a vote as far as the cleanup again. Please go with the cap option for the O'Connor landfill. Even though there are no guarantees for a cap, there appears to be no guarantees for a so-called full cleanup either. The only guarantee is the cleanup will cost the taxpayers in town a fortune versus a cap. I don't want to read one day in the paper, in 1918, Ringwood was incorporated and the borough was created. Unfortunately, by 2020 or so, the town was destroyed. We became a ghost town because no one could afford to live here. The residents of Ringwood had to move out or give up because of errors made in the 70s by a few that caused the whole town to give up and move away. I've lost 6 close, good friends, tax-paying friends, because of the property taxes the way they are now, right now. They have moved out of town. I will be losing 4 more shortly because of this. And they're barely seniors, but they see the writing on the wall. The current property tax does not even include the cost of what some are talking about regarding the cleanup option for O'Connor if it's done. We as a town cannot handle $20, $30, $40 million cleanup. The property tax problem we are dealing with now is because of the Highlands Act and a past administration not asking for or considering exemptions for the town for growth in the future. And because of that, we have very limited, if not any possibility of growth. Why? To conserve water quality for folks that don't even live here or even know that Ringwood exists. No compensation, no relief for the town's efforts and sacrifices. Now some want to add the burden of the O'Connor site, a site that was a mistake made decades ago, a bad error by those before us, with a comedy of errors over the years that will possibly cost us, or could cost us, $30 million. Without this burden, we can barely pay the property tax now, and Passaic County gives us no relief, takes our taxes for other towns in the county, and looks to Ringwood like a bank account to pay for others' problems. I am here because we can't pay for a total cleanup. First, Mayor Spear, I want to thank you for your statements over the past several meetings, pointing out that this stuff hasn't moved in 50 years. Thank you for having the courage using common sense and strong words to what is really going on. Thank you for having the guts to say what the things you've been pointing out. And I really want to thank you, because we have to think of this thing in a common sense way. We need to cap the site. We don't have the money to do otherwise. We also need a recycle center. Yes, things recently, very recently, have changed with regards to plastics, but the recycle center does more than just plastics. All right, we have the electronics, they take our brush. We need that, it's a necessity. Some have suggested not having a recycle center, but instead putting in a senior or a teen center instead. In fact, Councilwoman O'Keefe, I think you were the one who mentioned that. First of all, that is like needing a new roof, not having the money for that, and putting in a pool instead. A senior, teen, or whatever center is fluff. It's just nonsense. A recycle facility is a necessity. Also, with the taxes so high, I don't think we're going to have enough seniors to utilize it anyway, and I include myself. I used to have the expression, when I die, bury me in town and use me as fertilizer. I don't feel that way much anymore. I love this town and still do, but I may need to reconsider, like others, if I can survive here, and that's it. We were all originally from a tribe. I myself a part of the Slavic tribe from Poland. My mother was a Glitziak, my father a Vilk. My husband is from Colombia, South America, a town called Pacho. He is part of the South American Indian tribe known as the Chibcha. But humans are migratory. We move when conditions are bad and settle in other areas. One of the arguments is that the folks in Upper Ringwood have been there for generations and generations. Yes, the Lenape tribe feel the tie to their ancestors' land, but wasn't there talk of a buyout years ago for the folks in the area, but was turned down? None of us want to move, but this may cause most of the town to move out over time. We'll be a cute little town with a lot of animals and nobody will be able to live here. It is said that the folks in Upper Ringwood don't want the recycle center located in the new area. Well, if the whole town is contributing, then the whole town has a say in the matter. Mr. Ferretti, you mentioned at a past council meeting, if it makes it expensive to live in Ringwood, so be it. It will be an expensive place to live. I'm insulted by your words. Your words are insulting to the generations of others that have lived here. You were supposed to look out for the town, the whole town, and everybody that lives here. I'm not a rich person. I'm a poor person with a few extra dollars. If you are rich, God bless you. But tell my neighbors when their house goes into foreclosure for tax payments they can't afford. God knows I will remember your words, and will you if you have problems paying your taxes. It's a shame. Finally, O'Connor is not the only toxic site. There's 2 others being capped, and they are worse. It's not moving. Why disrupt it? We can't afford to put Ringwood on the hook for $30, $40, $50 million. There's no guarantee the insurance companies are going to pay for any of this. The taxes are too high already because of the Highlands Act's restrictions. We must have a recycle center, and the best part is the design will reinforce the cap to keep it contained. Thank you.
Adam Canetti, 310 Lakeview Avenue. I don't even know where to start. First of all, it is a shame if you're losing friends because they're moving out of town. I suggest you talk to some of the people that live in Upper Ringwood. They've lost their friends to death. They've lost people to multiple cancers, to childhood cancers. Dozens and dozens and dozens of people have been dying over the years because of what's down there. A cleanup is not going to cost Ringwood 20, 30, 40, 50 million. If Ringwood's obligated at all, it's a small percentage of the whole. I've heard that insurance, we don't know if insurance is going to pay for it, but insurance has somehow been paying for every expense the borough has come up with so far related to Upper Ringwood. The insurance has paid for the geologist. The insurance has paid for the environmental lawyer. The insurance has paid for whatever trips they take to see Ford, maybe not. But I had Oprah bills, and there were thousands, tens of thousands of dollars that the insurance company paid for related to the cleanup. Therefore, why do we assume they won't pay for the actual cleanup? They're just going to pay to avoid the actual cleanup? Makes no sense to me. Mr. Freddy did not say he wanted to live here if it was because he wanted it to be expensive. He wanted it safe and expensive. Safe and expensive. Emphasis on safe, not just expensive. Nobody said we shouldn't have any recycling center. Not Councilwoman O'Keefe, not Councilman Ferretti. Nobody said there shouldn't be a recycling center. They were addressing the issue of why we needed a brand new recycling center in a flat market where recycling isn't worth anything anymore. Brainstorming came up with Senior Citizen Center. It certainly would be worth looking into. Just throwing it out there. What else? I was going to discuss, and I was going to wait till later, but now you got me wound up. Mayor Spear, at the last meeting, at the consent decree meeting, I brought up the way you spoke to your fellow council people. And of course, because you're you didn't respond until after the public portion was closed, which of course is how you do it all the time so that nobody can come back. So the response that you gave was, you're going to be you because of some anonymous flyer that was in the cars in April of 2016. I don't know what that is. I don't know who did that, but I also don't know why that gives you permission to be insulting to the other people that sit on this dais with you who are also elected by the taxpayer. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. The people that serve as mayor and council work for the taxpayers. You're public servants. Public servants. I know, make a face. Public servants. And the 3 new council people that joined you, and I worked to get them elected, I was part of the campaign team, I couldn't be prouder of them. They come to every meeting prepared. They ask questions when they have questions. They have voted with the majority on many issues, so they certainly don't go out of their way to be political, because I know they would actually rather there be no parties in this town and you could just work as neighbors with each other. However, there's the face. I have never heard them be rude to you, but at the last regular meeting, you looked at council people and told them their ideas were nonsense, told them that they were ridiculous. That's not how you should be talking to each other. As a taxpayer, I frankly expect more from the public servants in the town, and you can do better. So you can thank them all you want, but your snarky manner is offensive. Thank you.
See no one, I will close.
I didn't say anything while you were talking.
I'll wait for you. Ladies first.
That's old fashioned.
Since no one's getting up, then we'll close the public.
Ready to what?
Second.
Motion is second to close public. Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Bolton,
No.
Ladies first, I'm here. Okay, Venkatal, 24 High Point Lane. First of all, about the migration of the contamination off of the site, nobody knows. There's no wells off-site. So for anybody to say it's migrated, has never migrated off-site, not true. Maybe it hasn't, maybe it has. Once the consent decree comes forward with the groundwater, the DEP will they will mandate more wells to see where the contamination, and there will be wells off-site, so they will be monitored that way. But right now there aren't any, and no one can say it hasn't migrated off-site. I know, Mr. Spear, you find me very boring, but please. Also, there's always the confusion of why do people that support the cleanup of O'Connor, and we know it's a done deal now, you voted on it, and it's a moot point. But I just want to clarify why there's a difference between O'Connor and the Peters Mine and the O'Connor landfill. O'Connor, you all know the sludge was dumped on top. It was a landfill. In the mines, there were millions of gallons of toxic sludge dumped in the mines, not on top of the mines. So that's why they're being capped, in order to make the area safer, because part of it is a state park. So people, they will reopen it, and people will be able to continue to hike there once it's covered, capped, and revegetated. They're going to plant natural plantings there. Same at the O'Connor, at Cannon Mine. Now the Cannon Mine the Cannon Mine is really fenced off. That whole area is fenced off right now, because there's been a lot of sinkholes through the years that have opened there. So it's a pretty undermined area, and I think capping it off right there will make that area safer also. But of course, you're not going to be able to cap all of the shafts. There's a lot of them there that are open. And the reason we don't worry about the capping there is that the issue in the mines is the water. The sludge was dumped in the mines, the water is contaminated, and that's what's being tested now. It is highly contaminated with benzene, especially 1,4-dioxane, and deep, very deep. And that is why there's a difference. That's why people say, don't cap O'Connor, because you can clean it up easily. Cap the mines, because the issue with the mines is the water in the mines. So that's why we don't really worry about capping. It's going to actually make it safer there. There was a question that I asked at the special meeting, which, Mayor, you had said that you would answer it after after the public portion. And my question was, which attorney, was it Ms. Monahan or Mr. Klimak, that recommended to the borough not to remove the household waste on Sludge Hill that was contaminated? The reason being, it was contaminated with sludge. So I'm asking that again. And that's it. Thanks.
Jerry's Park, 120 Upper Lakeview Ave. I'm not sure I heard, I could tell correctly that she wants a cap. Peter's mind, you want a cap. That's what you said, you want a cap. Okay, I don't think I've ever heard those words before. And really, I would urge people to just do a little research of their own, and you'll see that how things have been really twisted up, the truth and half-truths really just repeated constantly every month for years. And my experience is that very few people really understand what's involved with a cleanup or a cap or a full cleanup. And you guys, you ran on cleanup, not cover up. And I just think that whole thing is a total scam, because you're saying cleanup as if O'Connor, or as if Peter's mind is going to be cleaned up. And it couldn't be further from the truth. And if we look at the groundwater report that just came out, what does that say? What does the groundwater report say? So I just hope people would do their own research a little bit more. It doesn't take a lot to see how there's conflation, distortion, and omission constantly. And it makes me sick, because that's all I've been hearing. And my hat goes off to you, Connie. Really nice. I wish I could have the time to put together what you just did. And the only thing, the resolution last month, I think put forward by either Kathy or Councilman Ferretti, about a turf field or a teen center or a senior center at O'Connor, a task force to look into those things. Just wondered how far along that's come in 4 weeks, and is anybody considering the risk that we're putting on the cost to the town, like a couple people here have mentioned. So thank you.
Hey, Peter Sando, 24 High Point Lane. I just want to say, I have a clean up, not cover up sign on my lawn. And I always understood it to mean to clean up, not cover up O'Connor. And talk about half-truths. Sir, you're always talking about that they're all three are the same thing. And I think Vanka just illustrated how they're not the same. And the reasons why capping some, the deep mines, makes sense, and why excavating O'Connor, which is not going to happen obviously, would make sense. So when I put the sign on my lawn, I understood, and when I supported the petition, which was squashed in court, probably because you were afraid it might pass. We don't know that, but why go to court? And I can tell you that I always understood that it was clean up, not cover up meant O'Connor. And I believe that that's what they were talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong. Thank you.
a motion in a second already.
Yes, we have a motion and a second. Roll call on closing public, please.
Councilmembers Bolton?
Yes.
Davison?
Yes.
Peretti?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Noonan?
Yes.
O'Keefe?
Yes.
Mayor Spear?
Yes. Thank you. Okay. There being no old business, nor any new business, we will move into section number 6, resolutions.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 2018-218, whereas the Chief Financial Officer has certified the funds are available for the payment in the current bill list in the amount of $444,792.21. And the supplemental payments in the amount of $2,837,759.11. Whereas the merchant service fees in the amount of $132.19 be credited to the following listed accounts for a total of $3,282,683.51, of which the Ringwood Board of Education is receiving $1,419,993, and Lakeland Regional High School is receiving $882,474.25.
I just had one question. I don't know if all these bills are included in that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so direct energy business for $7,848,
That's the Energy Consortium.
the energy consort.
Yeah, we buy bulk energy and
All right, so the other one from J&R is different, right?
J&R.
I mean from Rockland Electric.
Yeah, they're different accounts,
Two
but
different accounts. So the
everyone that we can bulk together, we do.
Okay, thank you.
The quick question I got is, the Porta-John bills all lumped up in this month.
There's, recreation has ended, all of the Porta-John bills, and also a lot of the pumping bills for the football and those Porta-Johns are also in there. Also in the bill is significant bills for pumping of the James Judge, the sludge at James Judge Treatment Plant. So that's all lumped into those categories.
Because you figured you would get the monthly.
Not always, it depends. Some of the recreational stores are seasonal, and they don't bill as often as we would like. Other questions, Mayor?
No other questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Mr. Martucci.
Second.
Mr. Noonan? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Bolton?
Yes.
Davison?
Yes.
Peretti?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Noonan?
Yes.
O'Keefe?
Yes.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Starting in November, we generally speaking do budget transfers to cover budget line items. We're allowed to transfer in November, December, January, to intertransfer between budgets if we want to move from administration, salary and wages, or whatever the case may be. Usually we do them in November, December, and January. We didn't do any in November. CFO decided that she was going to try and do a large one in December to try and minimize the number of transfers. So Resolution 2018-219, and again, this is not new expending, this is just transferring from one line item to another item. Be it resolved, the following appropriation transfer be made on the general current account for the water operating and the financial records of the Borough of Ringwood. These are the December 2018 transfers. Administration salary and wages to election salary and wages, $500. Administration OE to election OE, $1,500. Legal OE to audit services OE, $1,200. Engineering OE to engineering salary and wages, $2,400. Group insurance OE to building salary and wages, $2,800. Group insurance OE to police dispatch salary and wages, $28,000. Group insurance OE, police dispatch OE, $1,000. Group insurance OE to police salary and wages, $20,000. Building and ground salary and wages to solid waste recycling salary and wages, $12,500. Building and grounds OE, solid waste recycling, $10,000. Group insurance to salary and health salary and wages, $35,000. Group insurance OE to health OE, $6,000. Recreation OE to recreation salary and wages, $1,600. Group insurance OE to public events, $5,100. Natural gas, utilities OE natural gas to utilities OE electricity, $1,000. Utilities OE natural gas to utilities gasoline, $11,000. And utilities OE telephone to utilities OE gasoline. Water department from water operating OE to water operating salary and wages, $21,000. Water operating OE to water operating debt service, $8,000. Water operating OE to water operating debt service, $10,000.
we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Martucci, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Bolton?
Yes.
Davison?
Yes.
Peretti?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Noonan?
Yes.
O'Keefe?
Yes.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Resolution 2018-220, whereas a contract was awarded to Tilcon New York using the Morris County Co-op for the 2018 road program, paving program, contract number 2018-2, and whereas the Borough Engineer has submitted and recommends the payment in the amount of $109,574.29, invoice number C1811037 for the work completed. Now therefore be it resolved, the Municipal Council of the Borough of Ringwood hereby approves the payment in the amount of $109,574.29 to Tilcon, New York of Parsippany, New Jersey, subject to the receipt of the certified payroll records and the monthly manning reports.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Noonan, Mr. Bolton, roll call, please.
Councilmembers Bolton?
Yes.
Davison?
Yes.
Peretti?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Noonan?
Yes.
O'Keefe?
Yes.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
2018-221, be it resolved, the Municipal Council of the Borough of Ringwood hereby establishes January 2nd, 2019 at 7:30 at the Violet E. Bogart Annex, 16 Mark King Avenue, Ringwood, New Jersey, as the date and time and place for the meeting for the reorganization of the council. Be it resolved, the Municipal Council authorizes the acting municipal clerk to advertise such in accordance with law.
I'll move.
Second.
Martucci. Heard Ms. O'Keefe there. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Bolton?
Yes.
Davison?
Yes.
Peretti?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Noonan?
Yes.
O'Keefe?
Yes.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Resolution 2018-222, whereas the Borough of Ringwood authorized a tolling agreement with the U.S. EPA relative to the Upper Ringwood site, and whereas the said agreement is due to expire on December 31st, 2018, now therefore be it resolved, Municipal Council of the Borough of Ringwood hereby authorize the permission to extend the tolling agreement until February 28, 2019, subject to no objections from the Carrier Council, and be it further resolved, the municipal manager is authorized to execute the appropriate tolling agreement on behalf of the borough. Something that Wanda talked about while she was here at the last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Noonan, Mr. Martucci, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Bolton?
Yes.
Davison?
Yes.
Peretti?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Noonan?
Yes.
O'Keefe?
Yes.
Mayor Spear?
Yes.
Mayor, that's all the resolutions we have for this evening.
Very good. Very good. Next is consent agenda. Whereas the mayor and council of the Borough of Ringwood has reviewed the consent agenda consisting of various proposed resolutions. Now therefore be it resolved that the following resolutions on the consent agenda are hereby approved. 2018-223, approval of consent agenda. 2018-224, authorized redemption tax sale certificates. 2018-225, authorized municipal lien redemption, Block 603, Lot 1.C2. 2018-226, refund first and second quarter property taxes, Block 220, Lot 3. 2018-227, refund overpayment fourth quarter property taxes, Block 712, Lot 26, in the amount of $175.97. Resolution 2018-228, approval of payroll and payroll transfers, month of November. Resolution 2018-229, refund escrow money on advice of Board of Adjustment, Block 310, Lot 1.04, and Block 508, Lot 2.22. And Resolution 2018-230, authorized service agreement for fixed asset inventory. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Mr. Noonan?
Second.
Mr. Martucci, any discussion?
Yeah, I got a question. On the fixed asset inventory, $3,300. I mean, are they gonna go out and inventory every piece of equipment and tag it and put in some sort of system?
Yeah, they're gonna do it within the parameters, and they're gonna put a sticker on the back of it the way we've done in the past. I agree that $3,300 is awfully cheap to do that for, you know, when you start to consider, but they have changed some of the rules as to what they actually have to inventory. But having said that, it is a very good price. They used, Pompton Lakes used the same firm, and they were happy with the results.
Would Are they gonna put into a spreadsheet, they're gonna put it into?
Yeah, they're gonna put it into, and then what we're gonna do is update it as we purchase things and keep it, keep the spreadsheet active. So as we take things on and off, we're gonna take it off, and as we purchase new things that fit the parameters, we'll create new numbers and keep it active.
And at some point, the auditor will tell us to do it again,
Yeah.
according with whatever the rules the auditors have.
And the problem is, since you have a bunch of different departments purchasing things and not necessarily knowing the rules, you don't get every single thing done. You know, you don't get everything on that inventory list because there's a lot of different moving parts here. So every couple of years, you do need to do a new asset inventory, or at least update it. And that's what this is doing. As you know, it was in our audit report last year, commenting that we needed to do an asset inventory report, so I wanted to make sure that it was done prior to starting the new year audit.
Yeah, it just looks a little cheap.
I commented to Nicole before we started the meeting that this is awfully reasonable for that dollar amount, but Pump Lakes used them and they were very happy with the results.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmembers Bolton?
Yes.
Davison?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Noonan?
Yes.
O'Keefe?
Yes.
Mayor Spear?
Yes. I think next, we move into manager's report.
Sorry, I have a little longer report this evening because we've been, as you
Excellent.
know, putting these reports off for a while. So before I start my report, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for their support of the daily activities here at Borough Hall. We as a Borough Hall would be able to accomplish the things that we do without the support of all of you folks. You know, and it's the last meeting of the year, and it's been a very busy year, which you're probably going to hear in a minute. But you folks all know that because you live it every day with us. And anyway, so on behalf of the mayor and council, on behalf of the administration, I'd like to thank you guys for all that you do to support what goes on here. First year-to-date update. Actual snapshot of the budget as of December 15th is the general current. The budget, $15,964,620.21. Paid to date, $13,789,282.48, or 86.37% of the budget being used. Water operating fund, the 2018 budget, $1,549,046.03. Paid to date, $1,486,142.80, or 95.94% of the budget. 2018 certainly has had its challenges, starting with the snow and icy winter that we had, followed by the incredible amount of rain that we had this year. In spite of that, we've completed many in-house drainage projects and have many improvements in our streets and roads, and we do that with all of our DPW crews in-house. Some of the projects that have been completed or in the process of completing, because we're still doing drainage out there as we speak, are as follows. The DPW installed the drainage, inspected and repaired all the inlets, and performed miscellaneous work in preparation of the paving of the streets. The following streets were paved this year: Weir Place, Peters Line Road, Lake Raconda Drive, Olive Lane, Upas Court, T Court, Redwood Lane, Tomahawk Trail, Arrowhead Trail, Seminole Drive, Ricker Drive. The following drainage was completed by the DPW at the various locations. Stonetown Firehouse drainage was replaced. A wall was built and the parking lot was paved. Yuma Lane bicycle safe grates and eco inlet covers were installed. There was drainage done in the area of 164 Burnt Meadow Road. Cupsaw Drive had some drainage done in addition after the road was paved. Ricker Drive had drainage done. Darmstadt Road was graded and we redid all the swales. Drainage was done in the area of 102 Brookside Avenue. We had collapsed pipe around 367 Lakeview Avenue. Weir Place had some drainage done. Bicycle safe grates and curb covers for the road program were installed as part of the requirements for any type of paver road. You have to change all those irons. The Stones Ridge detention basin outfall structure was cleaned out. It's a large detention basin. It's part of our stormwater management. That was cleaned out. The basin in Cupsaw was cleaned out as well by Duffy Road, and another basin at Skyline was cleaned. Drainage in around 266 Cupsaw Drive was taken care of. 519 Skyline Lakes Drive, there was drainage. Between 19 and 15 Nottingham Court, and Vanessa Lane and Edward Drive drainage is going on as we speak. I just want to remind everybody, it works very well, but there's some people that still aren't aware. If you have a problem, call or visit the Ringwood website to report a problem, because that generates an automatic ticket for us, and it speeds up the process to get the work order taken care of. So you can call the office, or you can certainly go to report a problem and report that. I'm happy to report that through negotiation, we received $75,000 from Orange and Rockland for repaving of Olive Lane, T Court, and Upas Court. We also, through negotiation, received approximately $254,000 from Orange and Rockland for pavement. Anytime that they dig up our streets now, Jeff and I go out, we encourage them to pave the entire street, because in a lot of other communities, they pay it half. And we find that we can do it much cheaper than they can do it, so we figure out what it's going to cost us, and we ask the companies to allow us to do the paving so that we can pave the whole road. There was a lot of controversy in a lot of other towns where they came and they paved half. The other half of the street was riddled with potholes and whatnot, but they only affected one side, so we just don't do that. So we've been very successful at getting them to contribute to us, and we can pave more effectively than they can with our road program, so that's what we did. The borough applied and received $355,000 for the New Jersey DOT grant for roadway improvements for paving Erskine Road and a portion of Lakeview Avenue starting at Erskine Road. Lakeview Avenue will be completed in phases, just like we did with Cupsaw Drive, that project. It's going to take us quite a few years to get all the way around Lakeview Avenue. It's something that needs to be done. The designs are already on the way, so we're hoping to see some paving done in the beginning section from Skyline Drive on up Erskine Road towards Lakeview. We look forward to that. We also, in accordance with the New Jersey statutes, have submitted and revised and updated all of our tax maps. That's something that it's not something that anybody sees, but it's a lot of effort that goes into it, and we have to update the maps and keep them active and current. We did that, and we're awaiting the approval from DEP. One of the things that we are very focused on here in Ringwood for a whole host of reasons is stormwater. The new stormwater regulations, I'm going to be honest, as I've talked to this council, are increasingly onerous. However, I think that they're important to, they're costly and onerous, but I think they're important. I think we have to do them, and we are ahead of the curve so much of the time on de-snagging and taking care of stormwater and fixing our drainage problems, because it keeps people's homes from flooding, it keeps our banks from eroding, it keeps the roads from eroding. So we spend a lot of time and effort on our stormwater regulation through our stormwater management plan. We've continued with that plan, and we are about ready to submit our plan to the state. Every year we have to split all of our requirements, our street sweeping, our maintenance, our dry weather flows, although we did not have a lot of dry weather flows this year because it rained every other day. But we keep all that up to date, and we work hard at that, and our crews do a great job. The DEP has also established new rules and requirements relative to the maintenance of the water system, and our water operator is currently reviewing those, and we're trying to do what we can to be in compliance. Again, a lot of those new requirements for turning every valve in town and operating the different the valves throughout the system and making sure they work and making sure is good, except that every time you turn a valve, as you can imagine, you turn the valve, you create brown water, and then you unturn the valve. So we're going to try and do it at night when we don't affect people, or we're going to try and do it after we flush the water system, so that it's all, every time you change the direction of flow of a water system, that's why you flush them out. You change the direction, you shake it up, and then you flush the iron out of the pipes. Well, every time we go to do one of those valves or check one of those valves, it's going to tint the system. So we're trying to work out a system where that might work. We have hundreds and hundreds of valves, but we're working on that. We also have to exercise all the hydrants, which we do anyway through our flushing program. I'm pleased to report, and maybe I think I'll leave this for Kathy to talk about later, the Sustainable Jersey certification. So I'll just kind of fluff over that. Over the past 6 months, we've been working on with the green team and trying to achieve our certification for bronze level sustainable New Jersey certification, which we have received. I'm happy to say that most of what we do with being good stewards of the environment, we've already been doing in town, and health programs, and so what Joanne Atlas and the group, the green team did was kind of put all that together, the stuff that we already do, and submit it. And so we did receive our bronze certification, and we look forward to doing the next level,
Silver, yeah.
silver next year. So we found that we're already pretty good stewards of the environment, and all that's been submitted, and so that's congratulations to everybody involved. You want to add, or?
I do want to thank all the members of the Green Team that joined this year and have been working hard. We did a Green Challenge. We educated students at Ryerson. Helen Forza was very instrumental, as well as Jackie and Joanne Atlas and yourself, in getting all the things submitted. We are also creating a creative team, which is a subcommittee of the Green Team, to further the arts in our community and to really give a push to all the great artists that we already have here in town. That should move us forward, along with perhaps becoming, I know Paula is here tonight, and she's working hard to make us a stigma-free town, which I think would be a great feather in our cap. So I want to say thank you to all the people who volunteered, and hope to see great things in the future.
The more boring stuff, the striping intersection of Skyline Lakes Drive, Greenwood Lake Turnpike has been completed, and that was something that is partially county, partially ours, but we really felt strongly that we're going to be there doing our part. We have to do the county's part too, because it was really worn off, and you couldn't really tell. It's a wide intersection, and the free flow of traffic was becoming a problem. So that's taken care of. We have relatively new tennis courts, but like anything else, they need to be cleaned and sealed, and the cracks need to be repaired so that they have longevity. That's been taken care of. We replaced guardrails in 9 locations in the borough, and hopefully the county's gonna follow suit. They've replaced some, but there's a lot more guardrails along the county roads that need to be replaced, so hopefully they're gonna get to those shortly. Helen and I applied for and received FEMA money. We haven't received the money yet, let me correct that. We've applied for and we received acknowledgement that we will be receiving funds from FEMA to compensate us for the March storm. And based upon that application, volumes of information. But fortunately, we've learned over the years how to keep track of all the records, so that if they do ever declare an emergency, we have all the records, we have the documents, we can put it into a form that's acceptable to FEMA. So we're receiving approximately $150,000 from FEMA. So that's something that's not expected, but it shows that we try to do what we can to get every dollar we can out of whatever agency we can to help offset the costs. We updated the employee manual because we have requirements from the insurance company that tells us we have to do different things. That's been taken care of. Our rec department continues to handle and schedule security monitors, work with the schools, and run a lot of the programs. They also manage all the background checks and so forth for the coaches, for the library, for all of our volunteers. We continue to salt the school properties to save money for the school, because it's not just about saving money here. If the school has to buy trucks to salt their lots, and they have to come get the salt from us, and then they have to have the labor to do it when we have trucks on the road, that never made sense. So superintendent and I worked and said, listen, we're already on the road, we're out there getting the roads ready, we'll just salt the school properties, and so that saved them from having to spend $80,000 on a truck and go through that. So sometimes it's not about necessarily saving us money, it's about saving the taxpayers. We negotiated new insurance plans in our union contracts for our employees, which are more cost effective. We had open enrollment. I'm happy to report some people have taken advantage of some of those new programs. It saves them money. Everybody in the borough, every employee in the borough contributes to their health care, up to 35%, I believe. Depending upon what their salaries are. And so some people have taken advantage of it. And the other thing that's important is all new employees are only eligible for the new plan. So if you're a new employee after signing of this contract, you have to go to one of the new plans. And they're good insurance plans, but they're not as costly as some of the ones that we currently have. So we're working on that. And through attrition, some of that will change, and that's helpful. I went myself to the new plan to try, if I'm going to ask other employees to do it, I should try it myself. So I did it as well. So I guess, as you can see, it's been a busy year, in spite of the weather and in spite of some of the obstacles that we've had. But looking at next year, I think 2019 will bring difficult challenges as budgets tightens, our ratables continue to decline. We're going to continue to streamline departments and enhance services where possible. Our borough professionals are going to have to continue to meet with the COA to resolve the COA obligation with the state of New Jersey. That lawsuit is still ongoing. While bills are coming in, all the departments have worked hard to ensure they stay within their budget. I think that the budget committee gets reports from me, and I talk to them regularly about where we are. And I'm proud of the fact that everybody in this building is committed to doing what they can to stay within those budgets. We have begun the process for 2019 back in October. We continue to obtain and work to get shared services. Our Moody's bond rating is still AA+, which is a very positive bond rating. Without looking at individual fixed expenses, we can anticipate while the budgets are shrinking, and I've said this several times this year, while the budgets are shrinking, we're gonna have to realize that we're not gonna generate as much surplus, because anything that's left at the end of the year in each budget goes over to surplus. So as those budgets shrink and you use more and more of those dollars, you don't generate as much surplus. So this year, surplus numbers are going to be less in the bank than they were last year. So we just have to anticipate that. The Finance Committee knows that. We've talked about that on the onset of the budget this year. And we have to continue to fund additional things. You know, we have to look to find ways to offset some of the costs. The council is an example. We approved an increase to the garbage contract of $240,000 for the garbage and recycling contract. Well, we need to find ways to fund those kind of things, and we're going to have to be creative to do that. We have new insurance options, but let's be honest, insurance and healthcare continues to go up. No matter what you do, the healthcare goes up. We try to do what we can to minimize those increases, but it's a fact of life. So these are all challenges that we're going to be facing as the year goes on. Jive treatment plant needs some modifications to address zinc and copper permit limits under the new regulations. The new regulations have changed some of those things. It was actually due January of this year. I requested an extension so that we can get the costs and do the design and try to find a way to be compliant. They gave us the extension. We have to be compliant by January 1st, 2019. The council here remembers, but the folks out there may not remember. We hired an engineer, a Lang engineer, to review. They applied for the extension and we received it, and we're waiting for a proposal on the project. And I think that's kind of the update on where we are for things that are coming in the near future. I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot more as January rolls around.
Didn't they give us until 2020 on that?
I think it was October of 2019, wasn't it?
They gave us till, I'm sorry, December 31st, January 2019. Yeah, January 1st, it has to be done. So.
Question,
Yes.
did we ever get a bus contract?
To be honest, I don't know if we got a new, but didn't they give us a 3-year contract last year? I don't remember. I think they gave us a 3-year, but I'll check. But I will tell you that I know we struggled to get the contract in the bill and whatnot on time, but each year as we work with the schools and we count the number of students, the cost of busing the students has gone down. It's almost been cut in half from where it was 3 years ago. So we've worked well with the busing division of the Board of Education. So, 'cause that's a direct cost to all of us. As a reminder, there's no garbage pickup on Tuesday, December 25th, and Tuesday, January 1st. Wednesday, December 26th, and Wednesday, December 2nd will be the pickup for the days for the 25th and January 1st. Check the website. Look at the website. It tells you on there when the pickups are for those days. It's going to be put off till the next day. I think that also we'll have it on the board, and it's been in our newsletter, so hopefully everybody knows that. But anybody that doesn't know, feel free to call here, and the recycling department can answer that, or my office can. So we talked about a lot of things that we've done over the year, and again, none of this could be possible without the help of the mayor and council and everybody in the Borough Hall, whether it's the DPW, the Police Emergency Service, the volunteers. Everybody has chipped in to help us get to where we are this year, and I thank them all for that. And Mayor, on behalf of the administration, I'd love to wish all of you and the residents a happy holiday season and a happy new year as we look forward to 2019. That's all I have.
Next, attorney's report.
No litigation to report, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Heck, do you have something for executive
I
session?
do have one executive session. It will be brief. It is relative to bids.
Counselor, can you recite a resolution?
What is the subject?
Labor attorney RFP.
Okay, resolved that the municipal council enter into executive session for the following reasons: to discuss a potential prospective contract with Labor Council. Be it further resolved that minutes of the meeting be maintained and available for public inspection upon conclusion of the matter. The public is advised that when the municipal council returns from the executive session, it may take formal action thereon, or it may take formal action on any other matter. Do the resolution now and then go later. Yeah.
Do you have a motion on that resolution to go into executive session?
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
What happened to the other items on the agenda?
It's coming up.
Who's the second?
Yeah, who's the second? We had a tie in the seconds there. Mr. Martucci. And that's resolution 231?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Bolton?
Yes.
Davison?
Yes.
Moretti?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Noonan?
Yes.
O'Keefe?
Yes.
Mayor Spear?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Counselor. Next on the agenda is general public comment 2. Anybody wishing to address the mayor and council, please come to the microphone. State your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Tall, 24 High Point Lane. Mr. Heck, you had said that you transferred, is it $18,000 in debt service in the water budget?
Yes.
Was that, what time period is that for?
What do you
Did
mean,
they,
what time?
like the half a year or
No, these are transfers for the year, so.
for the whole year?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is the percent of the debt service in the water budget?
I wouldn't know that on top of my head, but.
Oh, Could you let me know at the next
You
meeting?
wanna know what the
The
percentage
of the debt services, yeah. And do you remember what the total water budget is?
I read it before, it's
It was 15 million?
million?
Oh, I didn't hear you.
1.5 million.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you, sorry. Is the council still going forward with planning and laying out money for Ringwood Crossing?
That's the affordable housing litigation. That's what you're referring to? Affordable
No,
housing?
not the litigation, just the possible building of Ringwood Crossing. You know, I mean, there are things you have to do for the Highlands Act. Are you going forward with those?
Well, do you want me to answer that now, or? Yeah, that's.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's in the context of the affordable housing litigation.
Yeah.
The council isn't developing anything. The council is just trying to resolve a lawsuit with the Fair Share Housing Council and certain interveners and get court approval. Ringwood Crossing, you mentioned.
Yeah.
That's a concept, but that's not in our. That's a concept for convenience, but that's not a project that the council is actively pursuing.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's not in the sense that the council is planning to spend millions of dollars to develop something, if that's what you mean.
I more mean, are you spending money on engineering costs, planning costs, to possibly go forward with Ringwood Crossing? I mean, so in other words, if there was no COA obligation, Ringwood Crossing would be not discussed at all?
I can't speak for the council. That may not be the case, because part in the COA, not the COA litigation, the affordable housing litigation, the attempt is to, in satisfying our obligations, to also bring revitalization to the shopping centers, to have a mixed use. That's the concept. Okay?
Yeah, but that doesn't have anything to do with COA.
Oh, it does, yes.
It does?
Well, but nothing is, technically, nothing is with COA. COA is not active anymore. It's affordable housing
Okay.
and through the judiciary,
Mhm.
okay?
Yeah.
So, but they're connected. It's a projected mixed-use project. It'll be housing and retail and services. That'll be a zoning ordinance, if that comes to pass. It may not. A zoning ordinance will be passed, perhaps. That's the theory. And then it's up to entrepreneurs and property owners if they want to take advantage of the zoning that's afforded to them. That's if it comes to pass.
So, so I'm assuming then the only money that's being spent is attorney fees, legal fees to deal with the COA
Right now, it's legal and planning,
and planning.
because we have a professional planner that has to assist us in the
Right.
litigation.
No
Not
engineering
now.
for sewers or anything like that?
Not right now.
Okay, thanks.
We need more open space in a historic society, and Passaic County needs more open space facilities. Now the drug rehabilitation that's up on Morrison. That's on a standstill. That should be moving forward soon. Is that true?
We hope it's so, Mark.
See no one, we'll close public.
I have a motion second on closing public. Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Bolton?
Yes.
Davison?
Yes.
Peretti?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
Yes.
Councilmembers Noonan?
Yes.
O'Keefe?
Yes.
Mayor Spear?
Yes. Next on the agenda, Mayor and members of council. Your Honor, Councilman Davison, would you like to start us off?
Sure, I just want to express my thanks to Mr. Heck and the entire borough staff for an outstanding year, in my opinion. And just wish everyone a happy new year.
Thank you, sir. Sure. Councilwoman O'Keefe.
Yeah, we have a resolution that was put together by our attorney, Clemac, for the EDC, and I want to thank the members that we're nominating for coming out tonight and speaking on why they want to serve. So there is a resolution to be resolved that the following individuals...
Sorry to interrupt you, Councilman.
Okay.
When I gave you that resolution, I was under a different set of facts as to the terms. Now, Nicole did some research.
Yes.
And the terms, it looks as though these were staggered, okay? So the terms will not be uniformly 5 years. It depends on what block you put a person in. For instance, some of the terms ended, this is always at the end of the year. 2016, 2017, 2015, 2015, 2014, 2017.
Okay.
Okay?
So
So that means that they wouldn't necessarily, you would be, for instance, if you, for instance, there is a vacancy that covered a term 11 to 15, so that would be a 5-year. But there is a person who is on 10 to 14. If that were, remember, it's for the rest of the term, a 5-year term, that would end in 19. All right, no, I'm being.
from what I
yes.
understand, there is nobody serving currently
That's
on
right, but we're
Is
looking
that
at.
correct?
Well, no, we're trying to figure out, Nicole correctly figured out, when prior terms end, because you latch on at the end of the prior term, but all the
I
prior
see.
terms didn't end on the same date.
But
So-
if there's nobody serving right now, wouldn't they just by
But
default?
it's still a block.
Oh, it is?
It's still a block. It's all 5, 5, 5, 5. but
Okay,
these
so
5
we can-
started at different
mhm.
times.
Okay.
That's all. So some would be, if you make the appointments, would end at 21, 21, 22, 2019, 22. Okay?
Okay, so we can pass a resolution to appoint Tom Penorfi, Mike Enenhorf, Kristen Holton, Mitch Kahn, Tom McCallan, Ned Clausen, and Matt Van Allen this evening.
It's up to the council, it's up to you guys.
And I
So
had,
is that a motion?
That is a motion.
Okay. Nicole, what resolution number is that?
It's going to be 2018-232.
232? Thank you. Motion O'Keefe, second Bolt. Any discussion?
so I was trying to pull up the email on my phone, but I can't pull up the sent, but I had allocated the individuals to existing term blocks on the 27th. So I don't remember off the top of my head who lucked out with the longer terms and who had the ones expiring sooner.
We just need to take a year off them. These were 6-year blocks, it needs to be 5.
The beginning term is correct.
Beginning terms.
Well, they would all be beginning now, right? Since they haven't served, I think only Mitch was on the count, EDC previously.
This was, no. We'd have to take these.
Yeah, I'd have to change that.
This is an item we normally adjust during the reorg anyway, correct?
This is different than the reorg. This is something we've been working on all year to get up and started, and we've had a lot of volunteers here on a monthly basis with the mayor and Ryan and I meeting, and it's something that we're trying to rejuvenate. It's a little bit different than the reorg.
Do you have the Coles notes? The Coles.
I don't.
Oh, am I the only one?
Can we make copies?
No.
I just wrote on this again. Few sticks. I'll do it.
And since there were existing appointments, it was, you know, really just the matter of why making them wait one more month. And we had tried to do it in November and now December, so I know it feels really close, but.
Because we
that's
do all, you know, like the rec commission, and we do all the commissions, you know, for the expiring
You haven't
terms.
done the EDC in 5 years.
The unfilled spots, we have an entire script for the reorg. Not quite.
So if you look at, if you make the appointments, persons will just end on those penciled in dates, December 31st of those penciled in dates.
Okay.
Well, not everybody would be the same. It'd be 4 or 5 years, basically, 3 to 4 to 5.
So if you change them all to January 1st of the next year that it's ending, like if we look at the first one, so you make it January 1st, 2017, then it would go to December 31st, 2021.
Okay. But why are we picking 2017 as the year?
Right. Just say for a term ending December 31st, 2021.
Well, it's-
For a term ending December 31st, 2022.
It is 5 years, though. So if you start today, then it would simplify if you made it January 1. But if you start
Right.
today,
Well-
it would end, what's today, the 18th? It would end December 17th, 5 years from now. So for simplicity's sake, you usually go January 1 to December 31.
The term still runs
That's
the
all.
term.
Pardon?
The term still runs the term. It's just people are on short periods, as you said. It would still run December 31st.
Yeah, well,
As long
but
as
you're starting
that's how
early,
your
you're adding
ordinance-
time to it. You're
Right,
adding
that's
more
how your
than 5
ordinance
years
reads,
for it,
basically.
yeah.
May I
If
ask
you
a
did it
question?
today- If you did it today to December 31, 2022, you're doing more than 5 years. You're doing 5 years. I know this is nitpicking, but you're more than 5 years. It's a couple of days more. It's not, that's your call, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, because we would be appointing them today to terms that had started in 2017, term that started in 2017, term that started in 2018. Because those are the slots.
Well, they'd
that
all
are
start,
rolling.
let's assume you did, they'd all start January 1
The respective
of
years.
next year. Okay, but the termination dates would be December 31 of the years that Nicole penciled in.
So 21, 22, 20, and 19 are the dates that I'm seeing that the terms would expire. Is that correct?
Yeah, that would be December 31 of those years, yes.
So at this point, Ryan, what are you thinking with those dates? I mean, I thought that these 5-year terms would have naturally been staggered as people stepped down.
Right. Well, my understanding was that we were appointing people to fill existing vacancies of terms that are currently running, and that's why the expiration would be staggered. So, you know, individuals would be appointed to an existing term starting in either, like they would be filling a seat tonight for a term that had started in 2017, 2018, 2016, depending upon which seat they were slotted into, and then ending accordingly, as penciled in here.
Mayor?
Yes.
I kind of agree with Sean. this is something that should be tabled and taken up at the reorg.
Since 2014.
Well, there's a motion right now to move forward with this, with the individuals that I mentioned, so why don't we move forward?
Yeah, let me just add to the discussion. You've been meeting with this group for
You've
a
been
couple
part of
times.
it.
I've been, yeah, I've attended, I think I attended the first 2 meetings. You probably had 4 or 5 or something,
Yeah,
something like that.
right.
It looks great.
Good.
I like it. I bored everybody at the first meeting for about 20 minutes, explaining how we really don't want to call this the Economic Development Commission. The Economic Development Commission has a certain goal, and it has terms, and it has all this kind of parliamentary procedural stuff that gets in our way. Also, the Economic Development Commission withered and died after the Highlands Act. It kind of changed the complexion of everything. So it would be time to reconstitute a body. The Economic Development Commission, it looks like that was a 2002 ordinance that abolished the Tourism Board and the Industrial Commission and created an Economic Development Commission, because probably the roles of the Tourism Committee and the Industrial Board kind of went to the wayside. Time for something new. It's time for something new. It's not necessary to shoehorn these people into these rules. We should try to think about constituting a new body, set up its mission, and go forward in the proper manner, like I was discussing, back in, I don't know when that was, May or something. No objection to anybody meeting and talking about any subject, at any time. And if the group that you've constituted wants to keep on meeting, that's great, and I would love to hear, what they're coming up with. But to do this, we ought to relook at this ordinance and get that done.
Mayor Spear, respectively, we did look at the ordinance. In each of those meetings, we had Deborah Hoffman from the Economic Development Commission from the county up here. Each of us read the ordinance, we reviewed it together as a group. We thought that it fit the needs of the Economic Development Commission as it stands. And you were at that meeting where we all discussed that with Deborah, and Kristen Holton from her office has offered to serve on it. The ordinance as it stands, we've read it, we've reviewed it, and the group really feels that this is a proper vehicle for us to move forward with. And there's no reason to reinvent the wheel when we already have it here and we're ready to rock and roll. This group wants to work for our town to move economic development forward.
Yeah.
We have not done anything since 2014, and now we have people ready and willing to serve. I hope that you will give them the ability to show you what they can do.
Well, economic development has been looked at by our planner. We had our planner here. I mean, he just recently had to leave us, but our planner was with us since 2005, 2006. And our planning board attorney took a lead role in that as well, as a special counsel for this affordable housing. Economic development is tied inexorably to redevelopment. We have very few options in town, and redevelopment would be the only option. Those options have been looked at and studied. And during the meetings that I attended, we have very different ideas from what of what constitutes economic development. So we've looked at this pretty hard. The idea that was referred to as Ringwood Crossing, which was a silly idea to have a graphic that was not necessary. We're trying to develop a concept here for what can possibly happen at those shopping centers, which is one of our only true redevelopment opportunities. But that's one of our only true redevelopment opportunities. So we have very great, different ideas of what is going to be effective and feasible economic development. For that reason, I wouldn't let you pick 7 members of the committee. I think you'd have to be a little bit fair and spread it around. Something like the Green Team, you know, please get your people, go run with it. More power to you.
Mayor.
For economic development, we come from very different angles, and we do need to flesh all these things out. It's the only way that this is gonna actually fruitfully work. I would love to sit in on your meetings. I think I've missed a few emails here and there, but I'm not ready to constitute this board in this fashion with those old rules.
You know, since the Highlands Act was passed, it seems that this council does have a very myopic view of economic development. And since the Highlands Act was passed, you did away with the EDC, and it no longer exists. Unfortunately, that is not a good way to move things forward, because it hasn't benefited this town in any way, shape, or form to just put the brakes on. The group that we have brought forward are from Matt Van Allen, who runs Maggie's. We have people from across both parties that bring great new ideas to this town and opportunities for us to bring economic development. And I think you have a limited view, and yes, we do have different views on what economic development means. It doesn't always mean building. It can mean other things that bring economic opportunity. And the thing to do is to bring them together, to let them show you what they can do, instead of just putting a wall up and not letting them move forward.
Yeah, well, my understanding is that they are together, they are meeting.
And they're ready to have a proper role.
I'll just jump in and say that I think the definition of opportunity does have multiple levels, and that it doesn't always have to be the home run. And one of the things that we had talked about was looking at it from the things that would help the municipal budget to some extent, whether it's big or smaller, minor, and then those things that wouldn't actually impact the municipal budget at all, but might help quality of life, might help businesses in town, and just help the broader community overall in general. In terms of who stepped forward, I met people through this that I didn't know previously. We just put the topic out there, and then it's the people who continued to attend and make that commitment to fill out the form and commit for a few years. And I think the objective here is to just give people a real hat, as opposed to just being a body that comes together periodically to talk about things, and allow them to kind of have a mantle through this ordinance to also interface with other EDCs.
Right.
West Milford is in a very similar boat, and they're active and they're up and running. But for one of our community members to pick up the phone and call somebody over there, oh, hi, you're on the Economic Development Commission, I'd like to talk about that in Ringwood. We're not giving them parity. And so I just think that if we find there's a need to expand upon or revise the ordinance, obviously there's a process for that, and there's no reason why it would have to stay as it is forever. But we have an existing vehicle. The things that the group is trying to achieve seem to fall within that vehicle based on having read through it. And so to just delay doesn't seem to make sense.
No sense.
Any further discussion? Just feels like a political mover.
It's
I'm
not a
gonna-
political
I know.
mover. You've
I know,
been
but it
at
feels that
each
way.
of the meetings, John.
No, I haven't been at each of them. I
We
missed- I
have
missed- I missed
invited
the
you
past
to
couple.
all of them.
Yeah, well,
We've invited you to all of them.
Okay.
It was clear,
I'm
it was
gonna miss a couple.
transparent, and it was
yeah,
meant
no,
to be that way.
and I like all the folks up here. I do.
They're great people.
And I really appreciate
I
them
don't
coming
even know
forward.
what
And
their
I'm
party
sorry
affiliation
that you want
is.
to make them into like a political football to try to jam this thing down.
It's not a
when-
political football.
Look, we should have
It's a misread.
we should actually have a discussion on economic development at this table. This is where we should do it, because any action that's going to actually affect economic development in town will be done here.
This isn't the first time I brought this topic up. I think I've mentioned it many times throughout the year that we were working on this, that we were trying to move forward. I mentioned all the people that have raised their hands and offered to serve. And the people that have, I'm not even sure of their party affiliation. It's nothing to do with politics. It's about bringing good ideas to move this town forward economically and also for the community.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm still gonna vote no. Do we have any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
It says commencing on, did we decide, when is this, the resolution has a blank.
Ah,
Sorry.
did we come up with an answer on that?
I don't think so.
What this would be?
It's up to you, it's up to the mover to fill in the dates. What you could do is just, you have a list, well, I'm not going to, you have a list, just peg them to the,
Yeah, I think,
So we're gonna go with the staggered.
right,
yeah.
Just put in based on the original one.
yeah.
So you're gonna take, just so that I understand, you're gonna take the existing list that's in
No, the,
green, and you're gonna insert those names into the names that were just distributed with those years.
Correct, and with the exception of me counting wrong by one, whatever names that slot, because there was some
So
thought.
you're, from your email, so this is an email.
Oh, that we don't, okay.
So, so I'm gonna do it in this order, but the terms are gonna be, you followed this originally.
I followed that originally, but I think I counted the
Right.
end dates wrong.
Okay, so it's gonna be these people in this order.
So this is gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's gonna be.
Each for a term of 5 years, commencing on as put forth in the resolution below.
Is it as of
not
today or
as-
January 1st?
Not all 5 years, they commence, they terminate on these dates.
Yes, okay.
January 1st.
Has to be January 1st. So these,
1 through 7, 1 through 7.
okay. I have,
You have it? Okay. Roll call, please.
Council members Bolton?
Yes.
Davison?
Yes.
Peretti?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Martucci?
No.
Councilmember Noonan?
No.
O'Keefe?
Yes.
Mayor Spear?
No. Okay. Anything else, Councilwoman?
Yeah, I did want to address, I think it was Connie that got up to speak earlier. I don't know where this idea that I didn't want a recycling center ever came from. That's not the case. I thought the consent agreement as it was written wasn't something this council should be moving forward with very quickly due to the fact that the circumstances regarding recycling had changed. It used to be profitable for a municipality to have recycling. Now it's going to be a cost to a community. It's no longer going to be a benefit. The recycling center we have is adequate. It's been serving this community's needs for many years. When I was running for office, I didn't speak to anyone in the community that said, we need a new recycling center. To spend millions of dollars, which is what we intend to do, to build a new one, didn't make a lot of sense to me. I thought it was time to go back and rethink what we were going to do if we were going to cap it and come up with a different alternative. My alternative was a solar farm that I thought would pay this community money and raise money for us instead of us spending money. The other options were thrown out there because to spend millions of dollars on something that isn't necessary just didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. As far as you saying the town didn't get a chance to have a word, I couldn't agree with you more. We tried, and I know CARES tried, to give the townspeople a chance to have a word and to bring this to a vote, and it was blocked. I think that was very unfortunate, and I wish that the townspeople had had a chance to weigh in on this. I hope that they don't look back 20 years from now, just like you do in 1970, and say a big mistake was made then, that a big mistake was just made again. So I just wanted to clarify that. I think we do need a recycling center. I'm glad we have one. But if we're going to spend millions of dollars to build something new, I think it should be something that's really going to benefit our community going forward. Thank you.
Councilman Bolton?
I will just piggyback on that and say that even knowing that we are using money from Ford to build that recycling center, it's just what do we do with that money? Is that money a senior center? Is it whatever the case may be? So even if it's not necessarily coming out of the taxpayer pocket, the recycling center itself, what is the best use of that money that Ford had agreed to pay to cap it? Or to build on top of it. In terms of those alternatives, I know that the resolution had been put forth to look at different things, but it didn't pass, so there has been no official action or further investigation of alternatives. Although not to put words in his mouth, but I do think that not as a different site solution, but making full use of the overall site that Scott had mentioned, the solar farm idea, and even if it's not on the recycling center, maybe it's on the roof and panels on top of it, but just looking at how do we maximize that, I'll call it real estate, but the overall site space that we have. And believe it or not, that's it. I think it's been a great year. And I wish the entire community a very happy and healthy holiday season. I hope everybody gets to take some time to sit back and enjoy whatever it is they want to enjoy with whoever it is they want to enjoy it with.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Ferretti?
Thank you. A few things. I know I was quoted in the paper. I'm sure it'll haunt the rest of my political career. Taken out of context, it looks awfully raw. We have a situation where there's, as some people mentioned, two mines and a landfill. They're significantly different. We do, as somebody mentioned, agree that the mines need to be capped. It's O'Connor where we don't agree that the cap is necessarily the right solution. Obviously, we keep moving forward towards solidifying that cap being done. So those worried about their taxes potentially increasing are currently in good shape. I have zero intention of raising taxes. I voted against. I'm sorry if I insulted you in any way by what I said at the previous meetings. I have no intention of raising taxes. I voted against the budget this year because your taxes on average are going up $70 on average. I also pay, I'm a homeowner. I pay taxes. I'm not going to raise my own taxes. I'm not rich. I do believe, though, that the safety of the residents, that's you and that's anybody else who lives in this town, comes first. If there's toxic waste next to your house, I would fight to have it removed. I would absolutely fight to have the person who put it there remove it. Now, if there's illegally some piece of paper that says Ringwood said, oh, bring it here, that's pretty ridiculous. And if it's true, I believe it is true, we may be responsible for some of the waste there or having it removed. But whoever's responsible for the waste being put there is going to be responsible for having it removed, and it should be removed. So far, any judge who's been involved has said we're only responsible for 15% of that, and our insurance covers us for that. Whatever the proper fix is, that should be the case. And I'm willing to not allow the idea that our taxes could increase over this fight intimidate me from having toxic waste removed from next door to friends of mine in Ringwood, residents of the town I represent. And I would do that for any of the residents of this town. That being said, any other proposal I made that night relative to a teen center, senior center, or anything else that was discussed is relative to a better use of that land after it was capped. Ford Motor Company is paying for already a lot of money too. I'm not even clear on exactly what the $4.5 million is supposed to cover. But they are paying for our new recycling center. Does that mean that if we had another land use that justified a cap, they might pay for that also? Or whether that's a solar farm that justifies capping? I mean, I went home and I heard about, I don't want my you know, my mother or my child hanging out on the cat, okay? I get it. But that's the situation, like, who does want to hang out over there? Maybe it shouldn't be like that. Anyway. Off of that subject, now to more happier times. I hope everybody has a great holiday, whether it's Hanukkah or whatever you know, please. I'm going to have a Merry Christmas. I want you to have a Happy Kwanzaa. And everybody have a great 2019. I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ray. Councilman Noonan.
It's been another interesting, challenging year. We have many more to come. The information regarding the Upper Ringwood situation is quite a bit technical. More so than can be presented in that mic in a short period of time. We had to make tough decisions without emotion, with common sense that makes sense for everybody. As far as recycling center, it's currently non-compliant, so we have to do something about it. We're in a bad situation. We're making the best of it. On a good note, congratulations and happy birthday to Ringwood. It was the centennial this year. Unfortunately, it rained on the thing. It rained on the big party, but we didn't quite have the turnout. I'd like to thank the Borough Hall and all the Borough employees for their help and support this year. By far, Ringwood is a family town. When I walk through this Borough Hall, you know, I'm related to a good part of the town, but even though I'm not related to everybody here, I do feel like family on every floor of this building. And it's a really great feeling. A lot of the town employees, honestly, the DPW guys and everybody else. It's a nice family feeling. Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, be safe. Again, I always stress in these cold, extreme temperatures, look out for your neighbors, especially the elderly. Sometimes they're a little hesitant to reach out for help. So keep an eye on your neighbors, and Happy New Year, everyone.
Thank you. Mr. Deputy Mayor.
Just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hopefully, well, 2019 is going to be an odd year, so who knows what will happen.
Thank you, John. A couple thoughts, just looking to see what was mentioned. Okay. Okay. Which attorney recommended not moving the waste up on Sludge Hill? Oh, that was 2007, 2008. I had just gotten in here. I think that is, the engineer was Sui Long of H2M Associates, and the attorney was Joe Mariziti and Al Telsey. That was all their work up to that. I think that got settled or completed. It's not settled yet. But that issue kind of got addressed by sometime around April, May of 2008, I believe. The discussion about something else where this proposed recycling center is going. I reacted to it, I don't know, was that last month or last meeting, whenever that was, that I keep getting pointed out I was out of line. It caught me by surprise because I was taking it at face value. And then I realized that I think the purpose of the question is to obfuscate what's going on there. And the recycling center, and I've stated this repeatedly, and I think I started saying this sometimes in 2013, we don't need a recycling center, we need a cap. Actually, we can't live without the cap. And the recycling center was the pretext to get the cap. And that's what we did. Now to look at it and want to second guess that, okay, fine, that doesn't, you know, that doesn't mean anything. But I am hearing a kind of a shift from, oh my God, this will be the death of us all, to let's put a senior citizen center over the top of it. And I'm not quite clear when the health concerns went away. Was it when we signed a certain document that the health concerns went away? It's not clear to me what happened, but there seems to be a shift in the general thinking around here. But we'll figure it out and tease that out as we go along. Yeah, I think that's really it. That was what annoyed me as well. I was caught by surprise by that. With that, I'll let the rest of this nonsense go. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you next year. We will now go into executive session. We have a motion. We have this. Yeah, we have a motion. Approved motion. We are in executive session. We'll just take a minute to clear the room.
I'm turning the mics up.